Never mind. There we go. Okay, welcome everyone. So today we'll be finishing tablet 28 from uh Volk's Chrystomathy. I forgot his name. Poor guy. Well, so what do we have so far? Let's just take a brief look at it. So beautiful. Not really. Uh so we have Hammurabi, Kalam Dimdimme, so who builds up the land. Lugal Ningangakbi, so the king of his actions. Su'utu to Shamash and to Marduk brought joy. I am. We saw that this quirky sentence right here, which is technically grammatically not passable, is an Akkadism. So basically, a very distorted form of Sumerian, which is supposed to resemble its Akkadian counterpart and original. And then we have an untranslated bit. And I take it that we haven't really finished transliterating. Yeah, there's a few lines left. We have to work through the last 4 or 5 lines. So we are now in line 35, yes. So we have oh, sorry, 36. Yes, 36. Oh, I think there's a problem with the numbers. Well, we're gonna fix it later then.
Let's fix it later. Okay.
Yes. So this is U4, also stands for ud. Alone it means day. And uul li ata. We're gonna see what it means later. And now we have a very simple one.
Lugal?
Yes. Lugal. And then we have another one, right?
The Lugal?
Yes. And then we have a little something.
Eneir?
Eneir, yes. Now you know the problem with the E's and the I's in Sumerian. So I would actually mark it as NR, but virtually the same thing, probably. And then what do we have? We have another line. There we go.
Mustafa, you want the next one?
What?
He is the Hittite
Yeah,
one.
I don't know what. Yeah, why not? Which one is it? Transcribe. Transcribe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think ba
Yes.
uru look like
Looks like it a little bit, but it's not uru.
al.
Also very similar, but it's ra.
Okay. Para an
Yes.
an
This one is a favorite of mine.
an could be ta.
Somewhat. It's dim too. Not really syllabic, so someone comes off.
I'm not commenting that comment.
Yeah, don't worry.
Then me or something like that. I don't know.
Ma.
No.
Ma.
Like in Urima.
There we go.
Let's go over. I can take the next one. We can alternate. So that one is just a dinghy sign. So uppercase D because the next word is utu. So determinative.
Right. Let's mark it as such. Tutu. And then what do we have?
Another lugal, very convenient. And the next one threw me off, took me a while to find. I think that's a nga too.
Correct. Correct. That is indeed a nga too.
It already has its Neo-Assyrian shape here. That was the part that confused me, but okay.
Yeah. Well, it's quite a simple sign, so it tends to remain unvaried. And I can do the last one, I guess. Well, this one is a classic. This is a gal. Also remains unchanged. and then we have a B, galbi, and then we have a mix that we've already seen in this text plenty. So hu, mu, na, and the last one has got to be the worst look.
Ni.
Yeah, you would think it's a knee because it's got no thing in the middle, but
Oh, okay. I thought it was a defective do, but okay.
no, it is. It is. It kind of looks like a knee if you don't. I mean,
Yeah.
there's something defective anyway, but if you have to choose your defection, then you have different.
Yeah, I was wondering if it's the transcription that had a mistake or the original. I didn't go as far as trying to look it up.
I have not looked at the original yet. I could. And
Rabbit hole. I mean, somebody made a mistake. Let's leave
to
it at
me, it just looks like they didn't quite have enough space. So maybe the scribe was like, oh well, it's clear by the context. There's a na like right behind it. Maybe I should just let it slip.
that.
I hope he rot in prison after that. Or they chop his head off or something. I'm just kidding. So off to the translation. We have already done quite a bit of work. Hammurabi, who builds up the land, King was action to Shamash, and Top Marduk brought joy. I am, well, the one.
Can you explain that idiom, if you know, in Akkadian, how that actually works?
Su do.
Yeah.
Sure. So basically, the thing about do, actually, let me just to give you a clearer idea. Go on the APSD. Oi. Is it 210? Should be. Yes. Let's also look at it here. So Badu, this is the do. Tuk tuk tuk. It means good, right? To be sweet and goodness and good. Let me just have a look at the other do's, but I don't think it's, yeah, no. And then we have su, which I think means light or something. Mr. Sink, flash, yeah, flash. Body entrails. Oh, flash is in. Okay, then it means flash. It's not on the APSD. I think if you do su do, yeah, nothing comes up.
What does su sink mean?
Think to submerge. Or maybe it's
Yeah, would be interesting.
cool. So I have a theory. Let me just, but I have to look at it. Okay, no, it can't be this one. So well, it's not on the APSD. Maybe it's on this volume, the vocabulary list.
Oh, good point. Yeah, you're right. Didn't even think of that.
It's not a verb you see very often, honestly. And since it's not even on the APSD, well, but I think roughly translate to something like to make the entrails rejoice, maybe.
That's something, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
To make the entrails rejoice. Huh. Okay. I'll go with that. Sumrum mashkum must be taken into consideration. You know what? Let's park it. That sounds like a bunny ride.
Yeah, it's quite a weird one. I could do some reading on it. Could use some help. Academic word.
Let's
But
skip for the text first. So, but the IM, is that also a carryover from Akkadian, or is this actually Hammurabi now speaking in the first person?
it is Hammurabi speaking in the first person, and the thing is you can have a copula here. You can have the verb to be used in its dependent form after a noun.
Makes sense.
But
So that means at this point in time, then we have to say that the whole text is more like I, Hammurabi, who, blah, 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 blah. How does that fit to the verb forms we had before? Were they all ambiguous? Because I think we translated them as in the third singular, like he who did, but I guess it should be I then. You know, like
I think we already no, we did go for the first
there
person.
you go. So they're all I anyways. Okay,
Yes.
so it's consistent. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yes. So the thing about the copula here is that the copula can only go after either a pronoun or a noun, and badugga is, of course, not a noun because verbs are different category unless they have the nominalizing element
Right.
after, which kind of allows for cases, grammatical cases, and well, the copula to be used alongside with them. So that's why you can have the men here. It's a stretch, but it works. And
I'm the bringer of joy, basically. Okay, that makes sense.
yes.
Mhm.
And then we are back to square one. We haven't done a translation for this one yet. So shall we do it? I guess.
So Zimbir was Sipar, right?
Yes.
Sipar and Babylon, but not just Sipar and Babylon, but Bidake. Babylon Bidake.
So usually the thing is, Sumerian does not have a one-to-one equivalent for the English and. So
Right.
when we have two nouns following one another, well, for them it was a normal phenomenon. For us, we would gladly put a and between them. So that the thing we do is we put it between brackets, right? And so Babylon, right?
But there's a whole bunch of other things there.
Yes. And this is where we change strategy and we actually remove the brackets because bida, so the demonstrative pronoun followed by the comitative, is one of the autochthonous native ways of expressing the end.
Oh, okay.
It's quite rare, but it does occur. And the thing is, there's a even rarer variant, which includes the ke.
Okay. And the care here is a locative or something?
I would say we're gonna translate the rest of the text, but I would say here it works somewhat well as a directive.
A directive, sorry.
Yeah, basically the same thing. So that's why for now we're gonna not use the brackets and go for and Babylin. Well, actually, this is the analysis line, so we're gonna bida. Okay, then we're gonna work on it. So, there we go. Sorry. And then we have kitush neha.
Kitush is a dwelling, the place of dwelling, because tush we already had, I think.
Yes.
And neha is just peace, I believe.
Peace also works as peaceful.
Peaceful. So a
And then we have
Mhm.
this.
I would say forever, for eternity.
Right. So towards infinity.
Mhm.
Well,
And beyond.
yeah, and beyond. Yeah, well, lit, the literal meaning would be that. So forever. And then we have a funny verb.
Could it be a causative? Like to make, reside, to seat basically instead of sit, something of that nature?
Yeah. So what we have here is a verb, tush, which normally would be conjugated as a intransitive verb, right?
Mhm.
Sit. I sit, you sit. But when used in a transitive fashion, then it does indeed become a causative construction. So we do have a causative construction here. And so let's go prefix by prefix. First, here we have
Affirmative, I think. Yeah.
correct.
Mhm. In me, I thought that was that. Could be a locative or could be some kind of oblique object, I guess.
We
Or
do have a locative. Although if you remember the oblique object, so you made someone or something, blah blah blah, does appear in causative sentences, but for verbs there are already transitive.
okay.
Because for intransitive verbs, you just use the transitive pronouns, object pronouns, to mark the object. So here we have ha, and then we have a hidden mu. This m is a hidden mu. And then we indeed have a locative b. It's the consonant cluster, like b and m, which results in immi.
That makes sense. Yeah. And then just, yeah, the verb itself.
But
Sure,
since
if it's come to Amado, how would I tell?
but since it's in the first person, we have
I see.
we have the weirdo, the possible glottal stop,
Right.
and then we do have the verb tush, and then well the pronoun that isn't a pronoun because it's not marked, which is it, but we can leave it unmarked because it's quite clear from context.
Makes sense.
So if we do treat this as a directive, we have bidak. What did I just do? You're going to have some. Sorry, that's gonna take some editing to get rid of.
Say again.
That's gonna take some editing to get rid of.
Oh no, I'll keep that.
Okay. There you go. So we have the directive dir. So we would have in Separ and in Babylon. Kitush Neha. Peaceful places.
Yep.
Forever.
I don't want to say established, but
Yeah, basically.
established, set up, something of that nature.
It very established there. So we're very inclusive with our translation of the B and of the Ha. And then we have something else.
Oh,
Good
that's
old
kinda easy.
right, Hammurabi. Shega. Now, She and Lockley is a lot of things.
Isn't that a little bit too much R in the Hammurabi?
Sorry?
Isn't that a bit too much R in the Hammurabi?
Whoopsie. So in Italian, we have it with two R's. Hammurabi.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Hmm.
So I get confused.
Yeah, understandable. What was Shega again?
Why single M
Favorite. Oh, go ahead,
in
Mustafa.
Hammurabi?
Because, well, the real OG name would be Hammurabi. There's no double R.
For some reason, I want to put a double M in there, but not being an Acadian student, I don't know.
Well, it doesn't really matter. We're doing anyway. So Shega, one good way of figuring it out is just going on the APSD and typing She. And then you have a infinite list dwell. The dwelling of Utsu. No. The
Try
one.
Shega.
Sorry?
Just try Shega. Like She and Ga.
I don't think it's gonna help.
In EPSD2, it does. There you go.
Well,
Agreement
yeah.
doesn't.
Agreement. Yes, because, well, agreement, because we have Sheg, which means agree.
Yeah, right, you're right. That doesn't work.
So
Try EPSD2. And Ga.
Oh, and Ga, sorry. Nice. What is this? Oh, agree. Agreement.
No,
Oh, good.
Can you do it without the hyphen?
What do you mean without the?
Just like blank space in between. Uh-huh.
Oh, that gives me a lot of things.
Yeah, but if you go like to page 4 or maybe 5.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 4, 5. Okay. Oh yeah, still works.
Damn, but it's not. Where did I get it from? Somewhere I got favorite. Maybe it was in the glossary. I thought I got it from EPSD. Sorry.
No problem. But anyway, we do have. Let's go back to agree. Sheg. To agree, right?
To be favorable. There you go.
Yes. So it's really just Sheg. It's in its non-finite form.
Oh, okay.
And then a hamtu suffix. Right, hamtu participle, we call it that. Utu. And of course, we have a unwritten arc. The one favorable of Shamash, because we try to be Akkadian.
Makes sense. Mhm.
Okay, British. And then a good old Kiang.
We love it.
Yes. The thing about Kiang alone is that there's virtually no difference in the writing. I mean, it doesn't. Non-finite verbs have this thing, or they kind of have. They don't have this feature that allows you to distinguish between a passive and a active form, because you
Right.
can't really have prefixes, right? So what tells you that in this case it's beloved of Marduk and not the one who loves Marduk?
Oh, interesting.
Short answer, we don't know. Long answer, you look at the original Akkadian text. That's it.
Hmm.
There's no grammatical way of telling that apart, I think.
I mean, if you wanted to say, interesting. I'm wondering how you would get the Marduk in there anyways, if you wanted to make Marduk the object of Kiang, because Kiang is like a phrasal verb. It already has the ki in there as a direct object. So just hypothetically, if you wanted to make it, he loves Marduk, how do you do that again? You covered that, but I forgot.
Yeah. You're right on this one. So if it were the object,
Mhm.
it would go before the verb.
Right.
But
And
the thing is, it's actually not a verb here. It's an adjective. Kiang is an actual adjective. Beloved. That's the thing.
say that again, I'm sorry.
Kiang
Mhm.
de facto works as an adjective.
As an adjective.
Yeah. It's got no what's it called? Suffixes. It's
Right,
just
right.
Kiang,
Mhm.
and it's used differently from a verb because then it would go after it.
Right, absolutely. No, I'm sorry, I was going on a complete bunny ride. I was more thinking if you actually wanted to make it a finite verb, complete different
Yeah.
sentence. If you wanted to
Oh.
say, the king loves Marduk, theoretically, how would you do that? Lugal, Marduk, but Kiang is already a phrasal verb. The ki is the object of
Oh.
ang. So what do you do with Marduk? Somehow you need to make
You
it a
use a causative sentence.
right. So Marduk gets some kind of ending here. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wundergehen. Hmm?
Yeah, but mu, the venitive mu,
Ja,
na, dative.
ja.
You can have the if you want it in the hum to, you can use the pronoun here. Ang. Sorry. Oops.
That makes sense. So you basically you form it in the dative. Makes sense. So you put
Yes. And the
the
thing about the dative is that you don't write the ra if it's already expressed inside of the verbal chain sometimes. So it looks like a perfect object, although it's in the dative.
okay, awesome. Thanks for explaining. Needed that refresher.
Yeah, it's a very good question because you start wondering, like, Sumerian has a lot of it's like a lot of separable verbs.
Mhm, mhm.
So if the object is the object of the verb, like the first term of the two partite verb, then in what case is the beneficiary, well, the object, the external object? Short answer is either in the directive or the dative.
Makes sense. Mhm, mhm.
So then we have the copula, men. So I am the beloved one of Marduk.
Mhm.
And now we have the weird one. You can easily find this one on the glossary.
Yep. And it was since long time ago or something, or since the beginning of time, something of that nature.
Yep. So it's u, which is they. Ul, if I don't remember, probably just remote or something. Primordial, maybe. And then lia, I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna explain etymology of Sumerian words. It's quite nonsensical. Then we have a ta, ablative. So literally, it would be like from forever.
Right. From time immemorial.
Let's use that. Sounds quite Aulic. This one's quite clear, I would say.
I have to profess my ignorance. So Lugalene is a plural of king. So king of kings or something, or maybe all kings. It
Yeah.
could be a double plural. That makes more sense actually in
I
context.
mean, the reduplication for nouns is one of the possible means of pluralization, but it does have a nuance of modality. let's call it that. It's what we usually refer to as a collective plural. So not just kings, but like all the kings.
All the kings. But it has an R at the end. Is that in the plural? Is that still a dative?
Yes.
Okay.
In it, it's just the plural, yes. And then we have ra. Dative. Let's just leave this untranslated for now. And let's just go to the juicy sentence. So ba. And then we have a ra. So now, in the text, we have seen a lot of affirmative statements, you know, because when you want to say something about the king, you use the affirmative, you know, to kind of solidify the concept that he has verily done that. And what do you do if you want to express the opposite for the other kings? To just make it evident that the other kings were not as good as him and they did not do what they were supposed to do.
So you're saying this is some kind of negation?
Yeah, you use the
affirmative negation or something? Is that it?
Yes, well, you can definitely call it that. Technically, it's called a vetitive. And it does the same job of the affirmative, just backwards, just opposite. So, verily not. Truly not. So this is the vet. And this is where it starts getting weird. We have a an.
I mean, it should be. Does it go with Ramtu? Oh, wait, but.
Yes.
I mean, I would have translated, if I forget about the ma at the end, I would have said, like, if I take the luga, no, that doesn't make sense, damn it. It is weird. I mean, the ra looks like a dative to me. So he did not establish for him, basically. The only question is who would be the he and who would be the him in the sentence before.
And here is where I wager that the Akkadian scribe can. Well, let's just finish the two following lines, so it's out of we get it out of the way. So just utu, lugal, and we have a nga.
I don't know what to do with this. It could be ngu, my,
Yes.
so my king.
So it's a ngu, but the thing, you know, in English you can say my or of mine.
The king of mine, yeah, this king of mine.
So you can say gu ak, and it just becomes nga. But I wager, since here we have a na.
It could be, it could be, weird.
Very weird. Very, very weird. Wait, what did I do? And then galbi. So gal, we know it to be an adjective meaning great. But we do also have the adjectival nouns. So basically,
greatness.
Yeah, greatness.
It's
gal.
greatness.
No, yeah, gal is because used as an adjective, gal means great, but used as a noun, so juxtaposed to a be, which is a demonstrative pronoun, which you can only go with nouns, basically, and pronouns, is used. It has to be in its noun form. So it's what we call a de-adjectival noun. You have an adjective, sukud, which means long, and you also have sukud, which means length as a noun. Same thing with God. So great, just greatness or bigness, or whatever you want to call it. Dumb terms. And then you have a be. So what's that be?
Either it's or demonstrative, one of the two.
Yes.
This or this greatness or its greatness.
And the be is one of the means by which you can construct adverbs. So
like greatly or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Technically, you would have a directive here, and it would translate to something like in its greatness. So greatly. So, but let's just do gal be, and then we have a ha, affirmative, mu, relative, na,
Dative.
dative, do, which is actually a ru. Let me see if I already had it anywhere. Don't think so. You know that it's one of those extra graphemic sounds. Well, doesn't matter. I'll just change it later. So here it is.
Technically, it could be a first singular in there, right? So a glottal.
Sorry. Definitely. So coming back to the whole thing. So let's try and make some sense out of this. And in Babylon, peaceful places forever, he verily established there. Well, I verily established there. Hammurabi, the favorable one of Shamash. I am the. It would be I am the favorable one of Shamash and the beloved one of.
Yes.
So I am.
It's Yoda speak. The favorable one of Shamash, the beloved one of Marduk, I am. Yeah. No, it's fine the way. Keep it the way it is.
There we go. There we go. Now it makes total sense. From time immemorial, we have a logo. So, in a long time, well, this is a time reference.
Basically, what he's trying to say is what other kings haven't built.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of time,
Yes.
I have built in its greatness. That's what he's trying to do. But how does that work automatically?
It's a good question. So let's just let's pretend this is a dative.
Yeah, that part is clear. I built it for my king.
Yeah, so it's
so that part is good. For my king, Shamash, I build it in its greatness. I think that part, 38 and 39. I'm cool with. This is the tricky part. The luga luga ener para andima. I mean, if the para andima were like some kind of object, the thing that was not built, like a relative kind of something, now okay. I would have thought that should be closer to the noun, you know, to the verb.
Yes.
So the utu lugal nga in between is maybe for. I mean, there's grammar and there's poetic license. It could be for emphasis reasons, basically. But as such, I find the barandima comes a bit too early to be a direct object.
So barandima.
And then the other part is, what is that dative doing there?
This could also be a locative here, I guess.
Mhm.
Maybe referring back to something about, yeah, either Babylon or Sapar. I don't know. Probably not though. However, but so technically, I mean, literally, it would mean something like for all the kings. What about this? Maybe might be a stretch, but
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
up to here though, although we do have a nominalizing element which makes the whole thing into a de facto noun. So we could have that, which for all the kings, it was verily not erected. For Shamash, my king,
Mhm.
built in his greatness.
That makes some sense because Sumerian loves parallels. And if you have the first thing as a dative and basically say, for all these people, it wasn't built. For my king, it was built. That makes sense. I mean, that's the kind of thing that they like, that they think is poetic, right? So
Yes.
that makes sense on formal grounds.
Right. So I think that concludes it.
Very, very nice.
Let's just put the cherry on top. So we know that it's something that I just love doing. I can't like unsee it anymore. It's got to be there, otherwise I get frustrated about it.
Okay.
We know it's somewhat of it's a sound between an R and a D, so we just write it that. So
Is
Shamash.
there such thing in transcription?
We can keep it as do 3,
Yeah, I would say
but
so. Mhm.
otherwise it gets really weird. You either go rule 3 or do 3, but generally we don't use the R with the thing on top in transcription. Well, we do use that in analysis. And let me just see. Oh, so the Sumerian name is actually, sorry, Amar.
Yep.
Sorry, Marduk. So instead of Marduk, I'm just gonna write Amar. And that's it.
Very, very cool.
We have finished the thing. Very, very well. Let me just grab that.
Thank you, sir.
So let me see if there's anything else. Doesn't look like it. No, quite a good job. Quite a good job. How long have we spent on this tablet actually?
4 lessons total. Honestly, I mean, a lot of it was sign lookup. So if we externalize the sign lookup and say we do that as a homework in advance, it will go much faster.
Right.
I think we could probably shorten the time to 2 to 3 lessons easily for a text like this.
I agree, yeah. Very good. So next time we'll be working on the 29th tablet, which is not easy at all. It's going to be very difficult. And the first time we tackle such a different handwriting. So it's going to be interesting to see. But until then, we can you can already treat it as a homework. Yeah, and then we just go over it together, I guess. I'm just going to say the same thing to Rasmus. But since it's very hard, I'll be preparing some notes and maybe a list of really hard to find cuneiform signs. Well, it wasn't easy for me either. I had to spent quite a few pages on it.
All right.
Yes. So
Yeah, send us some notes, and if anybody who wasn't here today sees this video and wants to join next week, try to do some prep work so we can be a bit faster.
right. So I'll be saving the thing, I'll be saving this document, and I'll be uploading it. I'll just correct the typos because I'm sure. I mean, I made it, so there have to be at least 5 or 6 mistakes somewhere, which nobody notices until it's too late.
No.
And that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I mean, I just send it in the chat. Let me think of anything else. Well, too bad the other guy couldn't make it. The away.
Yeah.
Maybe he can join us next time, or
I'll ping him. I'll ping him. With that whole time change, that messes everybody up. Hieratic, somebody wanted to start early in the group because, of course, yep, with different time zones and the whole world, that messes everybody up twice a year. High time that we stop doing that. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks so much, Gabriele.
no problem.
Here we go.